congrats on the 21 years of successful Kappa India, and my greetings to all the participants of this 2024 summit. It's indeed a pleasure and an honor for me to be here among all of you. It's also a pleasure to be part of the civil aviation sector in India. We do believe very much from the government side also that it is poised for much greater heights in the coming months and years. So thank you for having me, and my greetings to all of you. As we start this summit and as I speak, I thought I will just dwell on sort of two themes, or use two themes to share some thoughts. The first is on the airports that we have managed to expand in this country over the last decade. As most of you may know, we have expanded and doubled the number of airports in India over the last decade, going from 74 10 years back to our number today is 157. I find the airport development today is on a strong framework, and that is, I think, what is encouraging from whichever side that we come. For us, from the government side, we are confident that the airport development in this country can progress because the structure is there. For those who are from the private sector, also I would like to assure that the structure is there in a robust manner. Our greenfield airports policy make it very clear how the land is to be made available. All the state governments are now quite well versed that the land is their responsibility. In fact, the new airports, the major airports and several airports which are under development have shown that the states have now taken upon themselves the responsibility of providing the land, and they have done so. We have major airports even right now as we speak which are under construction. So I think that's a very important building block, and it's sort of settled. On the finances, the economic regulator that we have, who is an arm's length from the Ministry of Civil Aviation, I think is again a very robust mechanism that has sort of gained strength. The major airports, they bring their finances and the user fee charges, the entire economic aspect of an airport to this AERA, the economic regulator that we have for airports here in India, and they have been operating quite transparently, quite in a consultative manner. In fact, their process itself starts with the publication of a consultation paper, airport specific, based on submissions by the airports, and then they organize stakeholder meetings. The points are discussed, counterpoints are looked into, and I think it is indeed a solid framework for anyone who is interested in investing in airports in India for the times to come. Connectivity to different parts of the country is important, and the government on its part has been actively looking at the connectivity to the Tier 2 cities, the Tier 3 cities. We have already started looking at the 453 full list of airstrips that exist in our country. We look at them from the point of view of developing these as brownfield projects, or we also look at the defense airfields, whether the joint user concept is something that we can expand upon. Joint user airports again are a fairly significant number that we have in India. It has an immediate advantage, but it also has some bottlenecks in their availability, in the airtime that is available. Or should we look at the greenfield locations? So the bigger airports would benefit from the smaller airports, which would now become functional, and the small airlines would lead on to the bigger airlines. The entire framework of air connectivity in this country, in fact, how we would even look to the extent of whether the regulations for the major airports and the smaller airports, where there would be one flight a day or two flights a day, whether the licensing and the regulations can be calibrated to the degree of traffic that these airports handle. In the context of the expansion of airports, is that government is fully aware of the need of ensuring that there's a robust framework for the major airports, that they continue to operate in a framework that is predictable, that is clear and rules-based. My second point, very briefly, is on the aircrafts and the airlines and the large orders. I would like to, at this point, sort of assure that building an ecosystem that is conducive to further expansion of the airlines in the country, their expansion to different parts of the world, is something that the government is committed. It will be our endeavor that the ecosystem remains conducive for our airlines and the further expansion. Leasing being one of the major ways of acquiring aircrafts, we have been looking at it for some time now. Some aspects have been streamlined. It's a work in progress, and we are committed to making it even smoother. With the increase in number of leased aircrafts, in fact recently through our DGCA, the in-country transfer of leased aircrafts have been now made feasible and possible, and the ratification of the Cape Town Convention through enactment of a law is something which is really at its final stages. A new government is coming in, and I'm sure it will be taken up as one of the top priorities. It is something on which we are fully ready. Paperwork is ready. We will carry it forward. We will see that the process is completed at the very earliest. We are committed to the sustainable aviation, the SAF production. As the ICAO and the CORSIA requirements kick in, we will ensure that along with the relevant ministries in Government of India, the Ministry of Petroleum, our oil marketing companies, that the sustainable aviation fuel is something that keeps pace with the requirements. So I sort of conclude with the connectivity scheme that we have, the UDAN. The UDAN, the word by itself means flight, and I think that is the spirit or the thought behind whatever we are doing. It is our intention that every citizen, every person in the country is enabled to fly. With that, my very best wishes to this CAPA summit, and also to all of you and the organizations that you represent, my very best wishes for the times to come. Thank you very much.